Some matches end after 90 minutes and are forgotten. Others, however, are etched into a nation's memory. Even years later, people still talk about them in fairy tales, wondering, what if that moment had been different? World Cup finals are where football in its purest form takes center stage. Naturally, the winners remain in the collective memory as legends. The losers, however, relive those moments over and over again for the rest of their lives. And they can never forget the sound, the smell, and the feeling of that moment. So, which World Cup final changed history, and which was merely about the result? We'll be discussing the finals played from 1986 to 2022 with you, and whilst football has its fun side, it also has its dramatic moments. If you're ready, let's take a step together towards the most dramatic final. By the way, as we start our video, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. Let's get started. 2010. Spain v Netherlands. That year, South Africa hosted the World Cup. Spain and the Netherlands faced each other in the final of that tournament. The match was played at Soccer City Stadium in cold winter weather. Rather than a footballing spectacle, this encounter was a battle in which nerves and rivalry were pushed to the limit. The Netherlands attempted to disrupt Spain's legendary tiki-taka style with tough challenges. The referee's whistle was blowing almost every minute, and yellow cards were being handed out one after another. Tension in the stands was mounting and spilling over onto the pitch. The match remained goalless after 90 minutes, taking the game into extra time. In extra time, Andres Iniesta's coolly taken shot found the back of the net, securing Spain's first-ever World Cup title. The stadium was instantly engulfed in a roar as the crowd's colors shifted from orange to red. Even under pressure, Spain did not abandon their passing game and maintained their composure right up until the final minutes of the match. Those who watched the match are still debating one question: did true football prevail, or was rough play ultimately punished? So, which side of this debate are you on? 9. 1990. Germany v Argentina. Germany and Argentina faced each other in the final of the 1990 World Cup. The final was played at Rome's historic Stadio Olimpico. The match went down in history after two players were shown red cards. The match was characterized by rough play and tension. In the 85th minute, Andreas Brahms scored from the penalty spot to put Germany 1-0 ahead against Argentina, and this score remained unchanged at the end of 90 minutes. Germany were crowned champions of the tournament. This was Germany's third World Cup title. The Germans maintained their discipline throughout the match and stuck to their game plan. Argentina, despite Maradona's individual brilliance, were completely silenced on the pitch that night. Maradona was overcome with tears as the final whistle blew. That image still moves football fans to this day. Frankly, it would have taken anyone's breath away to witness it. Seeing a legend appear so helpless on the pitch was not something easily forgotten. 8. 2006. Italy v France. The 2006 World Cup final, in which Italy and France faced each other, was played at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. This final went down in history not for a goal, but for a header. Zinedine Zidane was playing the final match of his career. He was sent off during this tournament for headbutting Materazzi. This incident was talked about for years, and the reason behind that moment was scrutinized for years. Italy and France drew 1-1 after 90 minutes. The match went to a penalty shootout. In the penalty shootout, Italy kept their cool and lifted the trophy with a 5-3 victory. Despite being under pressure, the Italians did not falter and took each penalty with the same determination. But the truly shocking moment was that a player's career might not have ended with that final scene had he not experienced a momentary outburst of anger. 7. 1994. Brazil v Italy. The 1994 World Cup final was played at the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena, amidst the July heat of California. It was the lowest-scoring final in the tournament's history and an image that remains etched in everyone's memory. It was also the last tournament in which Roberto Baggio missed a penalty. The ball soared towards the sky and sailed over the crossbar. The Italian star hung his head in despair, and the stands were instantly plunged into silence. Brazil won the match 3-2 on penalties. They never lost their composure during the penalty shootout and maintained the same determination with every kick. The Italian team, however, crumbled under the weight of a single name. Everyone experiencing that tension held their breath. For the hopes of a nation rested on a single kick, and that kick vanished into thin air. 6. 2002. Brazil v Germany. Brazil and Germany faced each other in the final of the 2002 World Cup. The match took place at Yokohama International Stadium. Ronaldo rewrote his own story by scoring 2 goals. He had returned to the pitch following the mysterious health crisis he suffered in 1998. And for 4 years, he had battled knee injuries without giving up, taking his revenge on the final stage. Brazil won the match 2-0. His individual talent was so sharp that it could even overcome the organized German defense. Every move Ronaldo made was more determined than the one before. It was as if he were venting all the anger that had built up inside him over those 4 years in a single night. You might ask if this is true. Yes, it was true. Comeback stories in football can sometimes be better than fiction. Ronaldo's gaze that night is still spoken of as a symbol of rebirth, even years later. 5. 1998. France v Brazil. In the final of the 1998 World Cup, Brazil and France faced off at the Stade de France in Paris. Two key moments stood out in France's historic victory as the host nation. Zidane's two-headed goals and the health crisis suffered by Ronaldo before the match, which remains unexplained to this day, kept journalists waiting in the corridors for hours as they sought behind-the-scenes information. France won the match 3-0. They secured victory through a display of team play, without being overshadowed by individual stars. Everyone in the French team played with the same determination and discipline. Despite journalists chasing the story for years, what actually happened to Ronaldo that night was never fully resolved. And it went down in football history as a mystery. Perhaps you, too, have come across events that remain unsolved and leave you with unanswered questions. If you enjoy such mysteries, this final we're about to recount is just the thing for you. 4. 2014. Germany v Argentina. Germany and Argentina faced each other in the final of the 2014 World Cup. The match took place at the Maracanã Stadium, Rio de Janeiro's legendary stadium. At the end of 90 minutes, neither team had scored, and the match went into extra time with the score at 0-0. In extra time, Germany scored a goal and went on to win the tournament 1-0. Germany's victory was no fluke. It was the result of systematic work and a patient youth development policy. The detail that made this final truly unforgettable, however, was Messi coming so close to the trophy only to leave the pitch without lifting it. 3. 1986. Argentina v Germany. In the 1986 World Cup, Argentina and Germany faced each other in the final once again. This match took place at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. This legendary tournament was the final act in Maradona's never-ending drama. When Argentina took a 2-0 lead, everyone thought the match was over, but Germany, thanks to their discipline, equalized, and the stadium was suddenly gripped by immense tension. Just as things seemed to be settling down, Jorge Burruchaga's last-minute goal secured the trophy for Argentina. And Argentina won the final with a 3-2 scoreline. Argentina won the match because one player, single-handedly, could carry an entire nation on his shoulders. And with every touch of the ball, he carried the hopes of a nation. 2. 2018. France v Croatia. France and Croatia reached the final of the 2018 World Cup. The match was played in rainy conditions at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. This final was one of the highest-scoring finals in modern history. The match was a veritable goal-fest. The stands went wild with every goal. France's young player, Kylian Mbappé, announced his arrival on the world stage in this match. France won the final with a score of 4-2. France had struck a good balance between experience and youth, whilst Croatia, exhausted from having played 3 matches that went into extra time, could not hold out for long in the final. But what was truly shocking was that a goal scored by a player who was just 19 years old managed to embarrass even the goalkeeper in the final. If you enjoy watching the birth of rising young stars, this match is just the thing for you, as it was like witnessing a player's debut firsthand. 1. 2022. Argentina v France. We're now going to talk about the most dramatic final in history. Argentina and France faced each other in the 2022 World Cup final. The match was played at Lusail Stadium in Qatar. Argentina had taken a 2-0 lead in the first half of the final, and the stands were in a celebratory mood. Then Kylian Mbappé took center stage and scored a hat-trick. Mbappé's performance leveled the score at 3-3. The celebrations in the stands following Argentina's lead in the first half were suddenly replaced by a deep silence. When the match went into extra time, Messi put Argentina ahead once more, but Mbappé equalized again. The tension on the pitch had risen to such a level that it took the spectators' breath away. The match then went to a penalty shootout, where Argentina emerged as tournament champions with a 4-2 victory. They won because an entire nation had rallied behind Messi. For this team, losing was never an option. So, if you were in their shoes, which side would you want to be on in a final like this? In the final dance of an individual legend? Or at the birth of a young star? So what will happen in 2026? As you know, the tournament has switched to a new 48-team format. The tournament is being co-hosted by the USA, Mexico and Canada. The sheer scale of the organization, combined with the fact that the younger generation will have come of age by then, makes the 2026 World Cup the most difficult tournament to predict. The home advantage, varying climatic conditions and the extended tournament schedule paint a picture in which even my favorites will find it a tough going. Nevertheless, if we take into account squad continuity and experience on the big stage, it would come as no surprise if France were once again in contention for the final. The presence of a player like Kylian, who thrives on the big stage, strengthens that possibility. But of course, teams like Spain and Brazil, bolstered by young talent, could stand out with their systems. For instance, it remains to be seen how Yamal will perform on the big stage. Perhaps we'll all witness the birth of a new legend together. This is merely my prediction, it is not definitive information. Time will tell. So, who do you see as the favorites? Please share your predictions in the comments, perhaps the most accurate prediction will come from you.